Hey, it's Dorky Porky. Bacon baked in lard is a horrifying concept. I mean, it's twice baked and twice pigged. Oh, lard! Oh my god, what am I doing with my life? Is this what I want to do? Sit around wasting my life making YouTube videos? Watching YouTube videos? I should be out there living my life, doing something better. That wasn't real either. This is all performative. You've seen this. I had to set the camera down and act like I'm not looking around to make sure no one's seeing what a dork I am doing this. What is it that any of us are looking for? The meaning of life? Surely there has to be something better than me making YouTube videos and you watching them. Purpose? Continued existence? What exactly is it that we want in life? Hey, it's Glory Dory. What, the actual fish? I'm Glory Dory. Huh? Why do you sound like that? Oh, sorry. I had something in my throat. Surely I wouldn't sound like that the whole time. I'm a plot device because someone wanted a cool little guy to draw. But I have an answer to the secret of life. What it means to live is to leave an impact on society. It's to be remembered. Jesus, alright, makes sense. He left behind a whole legacy of forgiveness and hope. I can get behind that. But then there's Hitler.
Hitler alarm, Hitler alarm. Someone's using Hitler as an example.
He's not particularly good at all. How can he be said to have lived the good life? Vincent van Gogh died in relative obscurity. He'll never know how much he's impacted the future. I saw that scene in Doctor Who. I use Twitter. I would hardly call these people the ones who have lived the best lives. Yeah, but you remember them. Do you remember every regular Joe who helped old ladies cross the street? Billy Bat is a manga about a conspiracy theory revolving around a bat and how every major conspiracy has been perpetrated by the Batman. It's made by the same guy who made Monster and 20th Century Boys, so no one really has any clues what's going on with it. Lee Harvey Oswald isn't a good guy, but in Billy Bat he's painted as a pretty sympathetic character. Oswald is promised to be the savior of the world, and he will have a legacy that will be remembered. Doesn't matter whether or not he is a good person being framed or a bad guy down to the soul. It doesn't really matter much, because regardless, he is remembered. Sure, he's not JFK, but he killed him, so maybe he deserves JFK's spot in the hall of people to be remembered. One of the themes of Billy Bat is that of legacy. What will you be remembered as, and how will you be remembered? Will you die in obscurity in the shadows of success, or will you become the most recognizable face on the planet, but neither your name nor your work is your own? What if you end up as one of the most notorious assassins in world history? Is that what you want? Legacy can't be it, right? Hey guys, it's Glory Dory, and I really want to thank you guys for 1.4 times 10 to the 2 subs. It's been a long journey to get here, but I'm grateful to each and every 14 of you, and that includes my 7 alt accounts. I love you guys. I thought it'd be fun to take a walk down memory lane with some of our best memories. When I look back at this channel, I'll look back at all the memories I've made and everyone who's been here to support me. Wait, do I not have any real subscribers? What have I done? What will people remember me for? Is that even what I want? Sure, the only people we can reference are the ones remembered by history. But isn't it likely that someone who is unknown to history is happier and better off than the people written in our textbooks? I'm here in the second dimension. Imagine a man who lives the idyllic life. He lives in a tiny hut in a woody forest, making enough to survive winter and the next year, but not enough to be consumed by the greed of having more. He lives with his family, a wife and daughter, or if you'd rather, a husband and son. Maybe he lives in the mountains. It doesn't matter. He's happy regardless. He lives a truly fulfilled life, yet when he dies, he is only remembered by his family. And when they join him, there is no one left to remember him. Is that the life people want? Obviously not. There are some people who want money and power, but that didn't sound like a half-bad life to me. But certainly, legacy cannot be the only thing that makes life worth living.
Hi, it's Prince Vince. Yes, I will be doing this for you.
What I want is power.
I need more power.
It's not necessarily about being remembered. That's just the cherry on top. I want to be able to control people. Machiavellian is a term most people know. It's categorized by a manipulative, cunning ne'er-do-well, obsessed with gaining power based on a guy, Niccolo Machiavelli, and his principal work, The Prince. There are just some people who want to be dominated, and some who will dominate you. Wait, what? There are people who want to be left alone, and then there are people who want to control others. These people who want to be left alone, we can ignore them. That's probably what they want anyways. But what you want is power over someone. How could it be any other way? Should I indeed love thy neighbor as thyself? Why? Morality is for chumps. You can't eat morality. You can't buy bread in exchange for morality unless you choose to give up your morality. Should I represent other people? Give a voice to the voiceless? A paragon of virtue who stands up for people who can't speak by listening to their concerns and then doing what I think is best for them. So I'm just saying whatever I assume is good for them, for a people unable to articulate their needs. Hey, it's Prince Vince. I'm a political commentator now.
By the two major candidates for the presidency. The candidates need no introduction. The Republican
Yeah, that's not right
candidate,
at all.
Vice President Richard M. Nixon, and the Democratic candidate, Senator John F. Kennedy. Joint appearances, the subject matter has been agreed, will be restricted to internal or domestic American matters.
What a silly
And
thing he
now
just
for
said.
the first
Oh wait, my soundboard's broken. Wait a minute.
Nixon.
I think it will depend in great measure upon what we do here in the United States.
What a silly thing he just said. Alright, thanks guys. If you guys liked, please follow my channel, buy my merchandise, and remember to vote for me in 2028 when I run for president. I'm here at Applebee's, a hotbed for Machiavellian politics. Here, workers are forced into combat every day, fending off foxes and lions to reach regional manager, exchanging tips to garner sympathy with the fry cooks in the back. Beneath this game of life and death hides a devious secret. The truth is, everyone is out to get you. Jeremy would get way more tips if you were to say, get caught stealing money from the register. John Jimmy from an enemy principality would love it if an ad aired in the middle of a bombing in an unfortunate turn of events. Even the customer would cast you aside the moment you mess up their order of boneless wings and spinach and artichoke dip. Is this the life I want to live? Sure, it would be great. Amazing even, to work for minimum wage, at a job that doesn't care about you and gives the bulk of its profit to a king that only gives you the spoils of war taken from other conquered princes. But every day you would need to look over your back, making sure you lock the register so Jeremy doesn't get his grubby little hands on your title as assistant senior cashier. Every day you continue to trudge on, knowing that one day a better prince will come along and replace your job. If what you really value is power, then one day the party must end. You lose all your power, and then what will you have? What will still exist when the sun goes black and the universe closes her eyes one last time? The only thing that could survive outside the universe would need to be one above the universe. God itself.
Hey, it's Prayer Sayer. Whether it be a single god or the many gods of a pantheon, there is one thing they share in common. They all have their holy gasp together. That's a comforting thought. These guys know what's right. And when they know what they want, they have the power to make their thoughts become reality. And with that power over nature, it makes sense that their legacies stay stronger than any single person.
And if we can't achieve power... Oh my god, I don't like that voice. I'm just going to stop doing that. And if we can't achieve power or legacy in the ways we want, then living vicariously through these titans makes a certain amount of sense. These are the people who created the world itself. They know what's up. If I want to live the best life, I should follow their guidance. Whatever it is that I know, they know a million times over. They know what 12 times a million is. They probably even know what 13 times a million is. Life is tough. I think we can all agree on that. Sometimes you just sit there. Then you remember your bills. You remember that project you need done by the end of the week. You remember that embarrassing moment when your fly was down and you had to act like you did it on purpose, and now Michael thinks you're weird for doing it on purpose. Cancer, disease, death, and all of a sudden, a belief in a higher power doesn't seem so bad. Hey, it's Prayer Sayer. Do you have a moment to talk about insert god of non-determinate origin? No, I understand. Religion is tough for some people, but it's not really about insert pronoun appropriate plural or singular term. It's about you and how you can live your best life. The thing that most people forget about religion is it's just as much about the community as it is about our god/god/goddess/goddesses. We're all in this together, on this tiny earth. We're all connected to one another. And isn't that a nice little thought? I'm here in the cosmos, outside the universe, where the gods play quantum nexus, net zero emissions, AI-powered, passive income chess. These games get pretty intense. Whenever you pray to a god and your prayer goes unheard, that's because they're too focused on these games to listen. Unless you're a deist, then they actually just could not care less about you. Being a deist brings up some problems for religion. If it is true that the gods are real, but they don't listen to us, then what is the point? I spent my entire life praising these gods, but I don't get eternal salvation in heaven, all my worldly desires granted, not even a pat on the back, a thumbs up, and a good job. What even was the point? It might as well be as if the gods didn't even exist. And somehow that seems worse than the alternative. Remember every time you've talked to someone, then they take out their earbuds and say, "Sorry, I didn't know you were talking. What did you say?" The crackling cries of laughter echoing your head as everyone points and jeers at the fool who made such a blunder. Imagine how much worse that would feel with a god. You've been talking, pouring your heart out, pleading for a solution to every concern in your life, praising a shadow on the wall. And when your tears finally clear, you realize you've been talking to yourself the whole time. But there is no laughter this time. You look around, no one was there to listen to what you had to say. And how much worse does that feel? The easiest thing about religion, all you need to do is have faith. The most difficult thing, having faith, is a pretty darn difficult thing to do. Hey, it's Alive Clive. Maybe the reason for life is just purely driven by our animal instincts. All it rests on is the fact that your clump of cells wants to make more cells, and you get a hit of dopamine when you have sex. Then you get more dopamine when you see that kid grow up and have more kids with your genetic material. Then you die happily knowing that your progeny will take over the earth, ruling forever. If religion breaks down because there's too much unreliability in trusting a thing that may or may not be out there, this is a pretty rock-solid argument. The proof is in the pudding. Look at us. We do what it takes to survive. We walk to where there is food. We either do the 1-block jump for the chicken or the 1-block vertical jump for the beef. No one goes for the beef jump? Well, no one turns around and says, "No, I've had enough of this whole food thing." The circle of life guarantees that there is enough food to keep the system going. The only things that aren't living, like rocks, just sit around doing nothing. Life is just the urge to keep going. Hey, it's Live Clive. Welcome back to the Science Sanctorium. Well, subscribe bricks, it looks like we here at the channel, which cannot choose a name and stick with it, messed up. We really missed the mark on that last video, and we are sorry. In my defense, I had no idea that panda oil was made out of pandas. I thought it was a baby powder type deal, where it's oil for pandas, or like an oil that turns you into a panda. We're deeply sorry for that, and we promise to do our own research when taking a sponsorship deal so we don't make that mistake again. Anyways, let's continue on our dissection of a living human test subject.
Are you ready, John?
I'm here at a high school. Just kidding, I'm not allowed in those places. This is a green screen. Natural selection does not care about you. Until it does, but we'll get there. Natural selection is a process that can only be observed on the global scale across a period of time. The instinct driving the individual to survive is a thing natural selection imparts onto you, but it does not care about what you do afterwards. But it's foolish to say that natural selection cares about us as a group. It doesn't. Natural selection is a virus implanted on all species that only exists to perpetuate its own existence. Whether it hitches a ride on dinosaurs, or humans, or a plant seed, the only thing natural selection is interested in is getting another host to jump onto that can continue to multiply natural selection. This may be the worst justification for life. There really was no purpose to us. Atoms arranging themselves into the shape of a human through a temporary inducement of particles. The dipole-dipole interactions forming the crux of human society, only for that weak bond to sever, shattering the notions of what our place in life is. Belief in biology as a purpose to life really seems to say that there is no purpose. What reason was there for the curtains to be red? The red really shows the danger inherent to the situation. It inherently alerts us to pay attention. I just really like the color red. Hey, it's bright light. I got lazy. Give me a break. Alright, this time it's gotta be it. If it's not about power or legacy, and you can't rely on gods or nature to determine worth, then we should just roll up our sleeves and do it ourselves. If life really is empty, then that's a good thing. I can come up with the value of my own life for myself. Right? If the world really is this horrid beast of pain, then we should strive to come to terms with that. We learn and we evolve, and that is how we should live. This really puts the control in our hands. We can choose who we want to be, and then you can continue to grow as a person. If anything, this is the most human way to live. If anything, this is the most human way to live. You know, I see the trend. I say, this is good, and then eventually I bring up downsides, and then turns out in this way it doesn't work. But I'm sure this time is the right answer, for real. I think. Hey, it's Bright Light, and welcome back to Watch Mojo. Today, we're counting down the top 4 science facts. Comment below what your favorite science fact is. Number 1. Did you know that worms actually have 10 brains? It's true. Makes you wonder how smart worms actually are. Number 2. Did you know that the square root of 2,809 is 52? It's true. Makes you wonder what the square root of 2,808 is. Number 3. Did you know that worms don't have brains? It's true. Makes you wonder how smart worms would be if they had brains. Number 4. Did you know the government is putting viruses in vaccines and the secret government is trying to hide the truth from you? Wake up, people! You need to know the truth! You ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? You get real overconfident, then you realize, oh, maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Then you figure out the truth, and then you really start to develop a true understanding. If you're stupid, come on man, think about it. You think, this is when I don't know anything, but now that I do understand, I won't fall for the same mistake again. Are we joking here? We're right back where we started. Do you not see the pattern? I'm here back at the high school. It's dark now, so I had to break in. The problem with being smart is that you don't really know how smart you are. You were a kid and you thought you had it all figured out. I'm just different from everyone else. I care about things that other people don't. No one understands me. Then you realize everyone is like this. And you are the average person. You're not exactly smarter than the peers you have when you both went to the same school, grew up in the same place, and believe in the same things. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Kids make mistakes. Then they grow up and learn from those mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes because that's how you become smarter, more enlightened. Then, when the sun sets and your frail elderly body feels its time is up, you finally discover enlightenment. All these years chasing after knowledge, and now you have it. The value in life discovered. Then you die. If what we're chasing is enlightenment, there is that one instant before we die where we know that our life really didn't amount to much. It's just me now, and my real, full government name, Billiam M. Williams. I think we all knew the real answer this whole time. So, let's just get it over with. Life freaking sucks, man. Is it worth living your life? Sometimes no. There are some people who would probably be happier homeless than at a dead-end job. We need a purpose to live. And since there is none, we need someone to tell us that there is a purpose to live. The only reason we live is because life tries to preserve itself. But an empty answer like that doesn't feel satisfying enough for us. So we try to fill that void with a better answer. I want to continue to survive through gods or legacy. I want to truly experience the world and all of its wonders before I die. These aren't wrong. When the universe doesn't have an answer to the purpose of life, then there isn't any way to be wrong, but there also isn't any way to be right. Does it matter what you end up choosing at the end of the day? Not really. But the only way to have known that is to really understand the choice you made and why, removed from any rhetoric you've heard from anyone else. A goofy little degenerate like me isn't going to solve the biggest mystery of philosophy in a 24-minute YouTube video. But I think I have a pretty good understanding of why I chose what I chose. And that's good enough. What am I going to do with my life? I think I'll gatekeep that answer and act superior to others, downplaying their achievements to disguise my own insecurities. Good luck.